Hello, everybody. You're watching the Smoking Hot Coffee Show. My name is Amul Patel. I'm in Los Angeles. We cover internet startups, marketing, design, monetization. I'm joined with,
Hey guys, I'm Jeff Pelton and I'm down here in San Diego.
and you can reach Jeff at @Comster, and you can reach me at @Amul_Patel. Very creative Twitter handle, by the way. Yeah, so Jeff, Cup 31, we're cranking along. How you doing today, man?
Great, it's Thursday, March 7th. A little bit gray day, but moving right along.
It is a little bit of a gray day. We had a gray day in California. What is happening, man?
Yeah, I don't know. It's okay. Burn off some of the clouds maybe this afternoon.
Yeah, we're supposed to have some gray and some bright days, so it's good that we get some of these gray days. All right, so Jeff, let's get right into our news segment. The big news, of course, is Facebook is introducing a new feed. I mean, look at all of these news outlets. If I click here, there's
Oh,
it opens it up. We've got VentureBeat, Reuters, BBC,
yeah.
Marketing Land. I mean,
Before the show, I opened up Tech Meme to see what story we should talk about, and Facebook is just dominating the news with news about their news feed.
yeah.
And I don't know what it means really. So let's help explain to people what's going on.
Yeah, so as you know, when you log into Facebook, the first thing you see is the news feed. And this is basically a compilation of people you subscribe to, your friends, your family, and bands and other things that you like, businesses and what have you. And so now they've decided to segment the news feed based on specific categories. So I don't exactly know how they're segmenting or filtering,
Okay.
but they've got a photos, and they've got music and following. So basically, if I just want to see just what my friends are sharing, I can click on all friends. If I just want to just see photos, I can just see photos. Similar to what you might want to, a photo visual
Photos.
overview, yeah, like you would see on a Pinterest or whatever.
Have you seen Google Plus's photos? I think they came out of the gate with a very strong photo filter like that.
Oh, is that right? No, I haven't seen that. Okay, so they may be responding to that a little bit. And then, of course, if I want to just see music, I can just see.
Interesting.
So they're definitely going after music as a vertical, Jeff. They're
Yeah,
definitely.
I've definitely been following that. That's near and dear to my heart. I've seen in the mini feed in Facebook is where they typically keep all the posts from RDO, Spotify, and the rest of the radio outlets. But it hasn't really. I don't know. It's kind of strange how there's a main feed and a mini feed in Facebook, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Are they going to be getting rid of the mini feed with this, or?
My question, I'm not sure exactly what they're doing, but we'll see. We'll see when they launch it. But I do want to show everybody here how this feed is seeing. I'm sure they're seeing a lot of people using Facebook on mobile, and it's very interesting to see how the feed, this stream, this one column stream is an important consideration. And so if they're doing just music or just photos, they're obviously realizing that people want to just see images on the web, similar to what Pinterest is doing. And they're also probably noticing music is a big vertical that they're trying to tackle. And maybe people don't want to see any of this crap, and they just want to see what maybe just friends, and they don't want to see their feed populated by other stuff. So people are on the go, and people want to know what's happening. This is a good way for them to filter.
Yeah, I think it's kind of interesting. It's an evolution on some of what they have already done. I mean, I think they introduced some way of filtering your feed. They wanted to put people into close friends, family, and different groups like that. Then there's also a tab I think I have for pages,
Okay.
where you can look at just, oh yeah, pages feed is a filter they have already today. So it looks like they're kind of evolving some of these mechanisms to make it easier for people without having to manually bucket people into lists.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that I've been reading a little bit in the news that people are getting a little fatigued with Facebook and this and that, and so they've obviously been user engagement is a big deal for them, and this is obviously a ploy to make sure people are still coming back and they're not getting bombarded with a lot of crap they don't want to see. So, all right, so with that, let's get into our startups, huh, Jeff?
Yeah.
So first up, we've got a few things we can cover. Let's cover Open Garden because this is a very interesting startup. Oops, let me.
Yeah, I saw these guys announcing at the launch conference, I guess, and I watched a little bit of their video, and I think you might have mentioned something about this in our conversation about the internet freedom.
Yeah, so off camera, me and Jeff, we talk about a lot of stuff. One of the things that we talk about is how do we, how do we make sure we, we're still free and the internet is open and it's all net neutrality. And ultimately, at the end of the day, we're all sort of bound by, who connects us with the internet. In my case, it's TW, Time Warner Cable, right? TWC. Other people's Comcast. Jeff, I don't know who it is for you.
Yeah, we've got all sorts of options, in California, but unfortunately, depending on where your house is, you may only have one or two options,
Yeah.
actually. I mean, there's a lot of carriers in Southern California, but you may not have a whole breadth of options. So what we're talking about is centralized versus decentralized, I think, where
Yeah.
there's sort of one point of failure.
Yeah.
We kind of went back to the idea, I think I pop up like, what happened to the CB radio? We're talking about, everyone's in a car and on the go, and we all have these other radios and things, but or even with our iPhone, it's kind of crazy to think the difference between like the centralized communication versus the decentralized has not been utilized very well. And
Yep.
so these guys look at like they've put a very nice, simple, easy to use interface on mesh, auto growing sort of network.
Yeah. So correct me if I'm wrong, Jeff. For people that may not know what the heck this is about, so this software, this startup is trying to basically allow people to connect to the internet through peers within their local area where they're physically at. Is that am I right here, Jeff?
Yeah, so some of the demo I saw, they showed like an example feature was a string of like five mobile phones all connected one to the other. And then one of the phones is using Bluetooth, for instance, and then one of the phones is connected to Wi-Fi. So I think like the multi-hop example you're looking at there on the right. Um, and so, in other words, you can choose not to use your expensive cellular provider, and you can hop through other devices to
Wow.
a big bandwidth like a Wi-Fi connection that's connected to FiOS or fiber
Right.
or a cable connection or whatever. And I think the idea is just taking advantage of connecting through all these. There's a lot of bandwidth being not used as well, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is a great idea. I love this. I love the idea of cutting out a big provider and being able to go through your peer-to-peer network. I think that allows for when maybe in emergencies things go down and now I need to have access to the news or whatever is going on. I'm able to connect through my peers. This is awesome. In fact, we were talking about this, and I mentioned something about the one laptop per child, and that it had this innovative idea of being able to connect the laptops together in a mesh. And
Right.
I love this. I love this whole idea. I think it's very timely. It's very interesting from a security standpoint how you can protect your packets from not being invaded by other people's packets. I don't know how that whole thing happens if you can encrypt the data, but and also how does how does Open Garden make money? Are they just charging for the download? And is this another thing where the chicken and the egg? I'm not able to really utilize Open Garden unless a bunch of other people are using Open Garden, so they may have those kind of issues to deal with to building out their network.
Yeah,
Is
those
it
are a lot of good questions. I mean, technically speaking, I'm not sure what the nitty-gritty realization of this is for security and practicality. And like you said, I'm not sure what their business model is, but I'm sure this is useful to people if they can get it to work.
I would love for wireless carriers and for tablets and headsets or whatever to build this in so that every tablet you get is Open Garden compatible, and I can
Wow.
allow or I can not allow, and this becomes an OEM thing. It could be a
That
massive differentiator.
that would be impressive. So that would be a big help, an advantage to help make you choose a
Oh,
certain carrier.
absolutely. I'm like, do I want to get this tablet from these guys that have Open Garden or not?
Wow.
My next iPad, I want to have Open Garden built in. And I want all iPads to have that connected. I want to be able to say, okay, you guys can use my bandwidth, but when they add, I have an ad underneath my. You know how when you can sign on different networks, you get the network name. I can maybe have an ad there. Maybe I get some money if somebody's using my little chunk of my bandwidth or whatever. I don't know. There's some business models that could come out of this. Either way, it's pretty exciting stuff. Let's go ahead and let's rate this. Design, I give these guys I want to say 3 or 4, but I'm gonna give it a 4. Originality definitely up there. Survival 3. Marketing 3. Jeff, you're giving it a 4 all around. Jeff, tell
Yeah, I
us.
mean, I really love this. There's not a lot to design, but like I actually did download it on my Mac, and it just kind of runs in the background in the system tray, and doesn't. There's not a whole lot of interface even to it. But I think their simplicity and the way they've expressed it makes sense to me, and I really wish these guys luck in the future. Although they are going to have a huge challenge in getting the adoption, right? Because yeah, this is yeah, we should mention that more, that this is a massive chicken and egg problem as far as yeah, it's not going to be useful unless everyone else is already using it. So
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be tough for them or their competitors to battle that out. But we wish
Yeah,
them luck, and we're glad people are going after this.
absolutely, and I'm looking forward to these guys getting distribution. OEM's the way to go, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with these guys. All right, so we've got a couple of others. I'm not sure which one we want to cover next. I want to cover coderbits because you've talked about this a few times with me off camera. So we'll cover them. We'll cover the other guys tomorrow, maybe.
Yeah, I use a whole lot of open source software, and so I'm always hopping around different developer sites, and so this kind of is right up my alley.
All right, so Jeff, off camera, you've mentioned to me many times, hey, Mo, it'd be really great if once I create some open source, that right now my option is to put it up on GitHub, and we've got the GitHub template, with their little, here's the
Well, it's like
repo,
a
here's the
detail page.
yeah, here's the instructions, and yada yada. But maybe if we can design a new way of showing that and showcasing other stuff, it'd be
Yeah, basically for people that are creating jQuery plugins or any sort of open source, like just a little JavaScript library akin to jQuery, jQuery probably isn't just like pointing to their GitHub page, right? Like they have jQuery.com.
yeah.
And so it's great to, be able to create more of a destination for these projects.
Yeah. So here I am at coderbits, and we've got this sort of bunch of profile little images underneath a title that says "Intelligent Portfolios for Developers and Designers." We build factual, up-to-date portfolios for sites you use to showcase your skills, expertise, traits, codes, designs, education, and more. Now that's a lot. They're saying a lot here, and there's definitely a use case for developers for sure. So especially a lot of developers are design handicapped, and so I think somebody come up with a really lovely looking series of templates for developers. I think would be really great. What I liked about this was when you clicked on the developer, you got their little profile, and then we got a little sort of a pie graph, information graph thing where I can hover over, I can see top languages. This guy happens to be a big time Ruby guy, and he also does some JavaScript, and he looks like he does a lot of web stuff, frameworks, top tools. I really like that. Then I can scroll over and I can see his interests and traits and et cetera, et cetera. And then over here on the right, we've got sort of a nav where I can zoom down to this big long one pager where we've got source code that he's uploaded, binaries. Maybe there's even some design stuff that he's done, education. So in a way, this is kind of like almost like a new form of LinkedIn, specifically for developers and that some small or large degree designers as well. Jeff,
Yeah.
what's your feeling?
Yeah, the question is, where's all this information? I mean, look how in depth and long this page
Yeah,
is.
yeah. There.
Where's all this information coming from?
Well,
So
so
clearly, it's connected, I think, to some other data sources.
yeah, yeah. So if you scroll
It's not
down,
that you're.
yeah, if you scroll down, they say we connect to 50 sites. They support 58 sites.
Right.
GitHub, of course, being one of them. Dribble and CodePen, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah,
Hmm.
it's a really great. It aggregates all this stuff
So it's
into
an
one big
aggregate, yeah.
long page. In my opinion, though, from a design standpoint, I think it's okay. I think it's a little bit. Yeah, I think yeah, I think it could use some more design help, but it is definitely an improvement from like your standard GitHub page. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, we started talking about like GitHub project pages, so this is totally different, really. The what I was saying that there is a need for is for project pages like, someone who wants to start a project like jQuery. This is a totally different,
Oh, really? Okay, why don't
product.
you explain to me the difference, Jeff?
Well, what this is a portfolio,
Okay.
right? So it's an aggregate, it's something more like an about.me for programmers,
Okay.
or something like that. So this really isn't a way to feature your project. This is a way to feature
Oh,
you.
feature you, got you, as opposed to the
Yeah,
project.
this is a portfolio of your project. So,
Right, right, right.
you can see it's pulling in from GitHub the projects that you have worked on and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
visualizing it. I'm trying to click around and see. It looks like everyone has the same template here.
Yeah,
So,
everybody does have the same
I
template.
don't know where I fall with these things. About.me and stuff I think are neat, but not not all, I don't know what the value is. It is great to be able to quickly aggregate all this stuff together, but
Hmm.
I always think about the limitations and extremes, which are when I want to make a little change here, can I do that? Or if I want to get rid of one of these pie charts because it's useless. I mean, this one says web 99% and other.
Hmm.
Like that's not really
So,
helpful.
in your
Um,
opinion, as a coder, a developer, would you sign up for a service like this to aggregate all this stuff and kind of create a profile for yourself? Is this, in your opinion, something that you would sign up for, or what's your feeling?
I guess if it's probably going to be one click and connect with my GitHub account, so
Yeah.
it's almost like may as well, but then I'm just going to let it sit there and rot away.
Okay.
I probably won't ever link to it, is the thing. I mean, I guess if it's pulling my information dynamically, it won't
Yeah.
rot
You won't
away. You
need
know,
to.
the
Yeah.
content will stay dynamic, but
Exactly. Yeah.
um, to me, I don't, I have no incentive to send people here.
Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and give it a rating. So Jeff, how are these guys? I mean, you think they're going to make money possibly through maybe some sort of ad revenues? Maybe people are looking on here to try to find a coder. Could be a useful thing for hiring, for possibly jobs, that kind of thing? You see some
Yeah,
possible
I,
monetization there. But you're
yeah,
saying you wouldn't.
obviously it's got to be around the hiring and the recruiting, right? Uh, as we may have mentioned before, I think recruiting is an incredibly huge pain point for our industry, right? Technical recruiting, finding good engineers is incredibly difficult, and there's a constant battle between these top companies in Silicon Valley and everywhere else around the world. So um, this is going to help people, figure that out. Hopefully, this is a tool to give programmers maybe for a lot of people, they can improve their current resume by using something like this. So, again, it's probably so easy to try that, I think a lot of people will give it a shot.
I have to say,
Find it
Jeff,
useful.
I'm going to give it a 2 for design. I wasn't really thrilled with the design. I think
I'll give it
it's
a 3.
I think it still needs some work. Originality, same thing too. I've seen aggregations of a lot of this stuff before.
Yeah.
Survival and marketing 3, both of these guys are 3. They do have some seed content on there. They got a bunch of folks on here, so that's good. I don't know if other folks will recommend this to their friends. If I think if a lot of people start using it, then possibly it could happen. Maybe the network effects, maybe possibly.
Yeah, I mean, it has a sort of natural network effect. If I mean, like about.me, the idea is you make that your new homepage. You
Yeah.
send people there to learn about you.
Right. Right. Right.
So it has that going for it. I think to be critical, they need to figure out how to make the portfolio more sexy.
Yeah.
Uh,
Absolutely. I was gonna say it's
I
not.
bumped my design down a star because that's the whole crux of it, right? We've
Yeah.
seen this for designers and for, photographers and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And it's because they have beautiful stuff to put on display and showcase.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas with coderbits, it's a little bit more challenging and they have pie charts, but
Right.
that's not really helping me get a good visual
Yeah.
overall of
I.
and so my other thing just to finish up about my critique about some of these online recruiting methods
Right.
is a lot of times they're just kind of a fluffy way to like put someone on top of a stack, right?
Okay.
So the idea is you want to come in as a layman trying to hire someone and go, oh, this guy's in the top percent, I'm going to hire him.
Yeah.
But I don't know that that really is a real good indicator. So, just a little bit of criticism there, but I think it's great to give people tools to improve what they have already.
Okay.
This could be head and shoulders above, people's, doc file resumes. So,
Oh, absolutely. Big difference there. All right, guys. Well, that does it for our show today. I wish coderbits well. I'm looking forward to their 3.0 versions. It definitely needs to be more sexy, and the view itself needs to be, in my opinion, needs to be more engaging. The pie charts are cool, but I think it's just the first step. So I look forward to seeing more from them. And that's it for our show today. Thanks for watching, everybody. Look forward to your comments. If you want to get a hold of Jeff, he's at Comstern. If you want to get a hold of me, I'm at Amul_Patel.
yeah, make
Uh,
sure to subscribe to us on iTunes, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr, everywhere else, Stitcher, and I'll see you guys online.